The WNBA, the Indiana Fever, tonight might be the night where they've effed around and where they're going to find out. Tonight, a lot of talk about a boycott, a lot of talk about fans not watching, a lot of tickets not being sold.
Tonight might be the night the Indiana Fever learn a very expensive lesson. Because right now, thousands of tickets are sitting unsold. The arena seating map is a sea of blue availability, and fans who've watched every single game since Caitlin Clark arrived are publicly declaring they're out. This isn't just anger, this is an organized boycott that could hit the Fever's bottom line harder than anything they've experienced in franchise history.
One party to the WNBA because fans not watching on TV. Indiana Fever don't care about that. They don't care about that. The WNBA cares about that. Because if fans aren't watching on TV, the broadcast networks cares about that. And if the broadcast networks care, if they care, well, when it's time to renegotiate the new media deal, they're not going to be so willing to fork up money for these WNBA games. So if people don't watch tonight, that's going to hit the WNBA's pockets.
Here's what makes this situation so volatile. This boycott has two targets, and both of them are about to feel financial pain. First, the WNBA itself. If viewers don't tune in tonight, broadcast networks notice immediately. CBS Paramount is carrying this game, and when ratings tank, that affects future media negotiations. The league just signed a new deal, but individual game performance still matters for future leverage. Second target, the Indiana Fever organization. Empty seats mean lost revenue across every category. Ticket sales, parking fees, merchandise, concessions. When fans don't show up, the franchise bleeds money from multiple wounds simultaneously.
So much to me. Well, the Indiana Fever, as expected, as predicted, waited to the last minute yesterday to announce Caitlin Clark's injury. They had to bleed the fans dry as long as they possibly could until the injury report was due. Bam! 5 o'clock p.m. Injury report's due. Caitlin Clark's out. My question is, because I said this yesterday, people aren't watching these interviews. They're going to check the official account. They're going to wait for the official announcement from the team.
And here's where the Fever made their critical mistake. They waited until 5 p.m. yesterday to officially announce Caitlin Clark's injury status. 5 o'clock, right when the injury report was due to the league. But Stephanie White had already mentioned Clark was out during a 10 a.m. interview. That's a 7-hour gap. 7 hours where fans could still buy tickets thinking Clark would play. 7 hours of people checking the official team account, seeing no announcement, and assuming she'd be on the court. How many people purchased tickets in that window? How many made travel plans? Booked hotels? The Fever bled those fans dry as long as legally possible.
I'm not watching. This will be the lowest rated game in the CC era. We're not going to watch in protest of you not protecting her throughout her 3 years. Not my video. Shout out to ESP Ben. Boycott the game. Don't attend the game. Don't watch it on TV. The Fever front office and coach do not support Caitlin Clark. Do not support the Fever. Fans, don't show up. Caitlin is hurt because of this organization. They're complicit. Let them go back to the days of having 4,000 fans show up for their games.
The fan reaction isn't just disappointment, it's organized rage. Social media is flooded with declarations from people who've watched every single Fever game this season. These aren't casual viewers. These are dedicated fans who built their schedules around game times. And they're saying they're done. One fan wrote, they haven't missed a game since Clark arrived, but they're not watching tomorrow. Another said they're going to mow their lawn instead. Someone else is watching the 24 hours of spa race. These are people finding literally anything else to do, rather than support a team they believe failed to protect their star player.
You won't defend her. Retire from this league. I am out too. Tell management and owners they can F off. They have blood on their hands. Sorry to the rest of the girls, but I just can't boycott. Whoa. Boycott Indiana Fever until they trade Caitlin Clark or fire Stephanie White. I'm out too. I don't think I'll watch tomorrow. Folks, I'm seeing a lot of these names. These are avid fans. People that watch consistently saying I'm out. Then you have this post by the Indiana Fever. Calling all Gamecocks. Secure your exclusive Fever South Carolina hat by purchasing a ticket for our matchup against the Sparks tomorrow. Yeah, how do you think that's going over?
Look at the specific comments flooding the Fever's social media. When the team posted about exclusive South Carolina merchandise available with ticket purchases, the response was brutal. Fans aren't just saying they won't attend, they're telling the organization exactly why. One comment reads the stadium will be empty without Clark. Another says they came for the Iowa girl, not the team. The distinction is crucial. These fans are making it clear their loyalty is to Caitlin Clark, not the Indiana Fever franchise. That's a devastating revelation for an organization that thought they'd finally built a sustainable fan base.
Not watching that boring 1980s basketball. Oh man, WNBA fans should boycott. You guys are in for a rude awakening tomorrow when nobody shows up. Man, I am interested to see how many people won't be in the building. I'm interested to see what these ratings will or will not look like. Because if we don't get ratings, yeah, if they hold on to these ratings and they don't release them to the public, well, you'll know how bad they were.
The boycott calls are getting amplified by major voices. Dave Portnoy, who has massive reach in sports media, posted "No Clark, no party." That's not just a casual observation, that's a directive to his audience. When influencers with millions of followers tell people not to watch, it creates momentum. Suddenly, it's not just individual fans making personal decisions. It's a coordinated movement with social proof. People see others boycotting and feel empowered to join. The snowball effect is real, and it's picking up speed as game time approaches.
Dave Portnoy, no Clark, no party. Yeah, no CC, no party. I agree. The Fever Sparks game is on CBS Paramount to show support for Caitlin we should not watch. Yes, I like the rest of the Fever team, but what AT did in the league's response was unacceptable, and our only way to show disapproval is not watch. CC fans, please don't even consider watching another game or giving this league or franchise another dollar until she's back. I'm ruled out for watching Saturday. Folks are putting in their own injury report.
Here's what the attendance situation looked like less than 12 hours before tip-off. The ticketing map showed thousands of available seats, not just upper bowl sections, not just scattered singles. Entire rows of blue availability throughout the arena. Tickets were going for $15 just to get in the door. $15 for a team that's been selling out games all season. That's catastrophic. The Fever built their entire business model around sustained high attendance. They invested in Clark. They marketed around her. And now they're facing the reality that without her on the court, demand evaporates instantly.
That's the time, Caitlin Clark fans. Boycott this game. No TV ratings, no buy tickets. This game should feel the cost for the WNBA for not protect. Man, I am interested to see what this attendance looks like, what these ratings look like. I mean, folks, we're about 11 hours from tip-off now. Look at all that blue.
The attendance numbers have been declining even before this boycott. The Fever used to consistently draw 16,000 to 17,000 fans. That's near capacity for their arena. But recently, numbers have been dropping into the mid-14,000s, low 15,000s. The organization is dangerously close to becoming one of those teams that needs to tarp off their upper sections. You know what that means? Physically covering seats with tarps to make the arena look fuller on TV. It's an admission that demand doesn't justify the full capacity. And once you start tarping sections, it's incredibly difficult to reverse that perception.
I'm interested. This could be the night. Tonight could be the night that the Indiana Fever find out that they're just, at the end of the day, the Indiana Fever. They're a team that Caitlin Clark plays on, and we happen to support Caitlin Clark. But folks, you even look at we look at standard tickets. Look at that. You even take a look at the standard tickets. Loads of tickets available. And we've seen
fans are filing their own injury reports. That's how organized this has become. People are commenting with their status for tomorrow's game, mimicking the official injury report format. Status for watching tomorrow, out at. Ruled out for viewing Saturday's game. My attendance status, doubtful, leaning out. It's mockery, but it's also powerful messaging. These fans are using the league's own language to communicate their boycott, and they're doing it publicly, creating a visible record of how many people are opting out. That visibility matters because it encourages others to join.
Hey, Mark. I don't think I'll watch tomorrow since Kalen's not playing, you know? Status report for me watching tomorrow's game. Out. Would fall asleep watching Stephanie White. I have not missed one game since Kalen arrived. However, tomorrow I'm not watching. And no one is going to watch because the team repeatedly fails to protect her. Not worth watching. Trade CC. Add me to the out list too. Many CC fans outraged.
The fundamental question driving this boycott is simple but devastating. Do people watch the Indiana Fever, or do they watch Caitlin Clark? The answer is becoming painfully obvious. One fan stated it explicitly, "I don't watch the Fever, I watch Caitlin Clark." Period. That's not an isolated sentiment. That's the prevailing attitude among the fan base that drove the Fever's attendance and ratings explosion this season. These fans aren't invested in the franchise's history or the other players' development. They're here for one person, and when that person doesn't play, they have zero interest in the product.
Did you cancel your plans? You're not heading to the game anymore? Did you change your plans? I'm not watching anymore. I'm going to go out to dinner. I'm going to go see a movie. I'm going to go hang out with my family. I'm going to go barbecue. I'm going to go get ice cream with my kids. I'm going to go walk my dog around the block. I'm going to watch World Cup. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to watch the 24 hours of Spa. Whatever you're into. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. See you next time, and as always.
Tonight represents a moment of truth for everyone involved. The WNBA will see whether their ratings hold without their biggest star. The broadcast networks will evaluate whether the product has value beyond individual players. The Indiana Fever will count empty seats and calculate lost revenue. And Caitlin Clark's fans will demonstrate their power by collectively withholding their attention and money. This isn't just about one game. This is about leverage. This is about sending a message that resonates in boardrooms and front offices. Because at the end of the day, professional sports is a business, and businesses respond to financial pressure. The Fever organization made a calculated decision to delay the injury announcement as long as possible. They prioritized ticket sales over fan trust. And now they're about to discover the cost of that calculation, because trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. Fans feel manipulated. They feel like the organization cares more about extracting their money than being transparent. And that resentment doesn't disappear just because Clark returns to the court eventually. Think about the position this puts the franchise in long term. Let's say Clark comes back next game and the arena fills up again. Does that erase what happened tonight? Does it restore the relationship between fans and organization? Not likely, because fans now know the Fever will prioritize revenue over honesty when it matters. They'll remember this moment the next time there's an injury question or a scheduling controversy. The credibility damage extends far beyond one game's attendance numbers. The broader WNBA is watching this situation closely. Other teams are taking notes. If the boycott succeeds, if ratings and attendance crater, it sends a signal about fan loyalty across the league. It demonstrates that the WNBA's recent growth might be more fragile than anyone wanted to admit. If the surge in popularity is entirely dependent on individual stars rather than team brands or league identity, that's a vulnerability. Because stars get injured, stars eventually retire, stars sometimes force trades. If the fan base doesn't transfer loyalty to teams or the league itself, then every injury becomes an existential threat to revenue. Media networks are paying attention too. CBS Paramount invested in broadcasting this game. If viewership collapses, they'll question the value proposition. Sure, games with Clark draw massive numbers, but if games without her can't maintain even baseline WNBA viewership, that's a problem for future negotiations. Networks want consistency. They want to know that when they pay for broadcast rights, they're getting reliable audience numbers. One-star dependency creates massive risk in that calculation. The Fever's marketing strategy is also under scrutiny. Posting about exclusive South Carolina merchandise right after announcing Clark's absence shows a fundamental misunderstanding of their audience. South Carolina fans came to the WNBA because of Aliyah Boston, but the attendance explosion happened because of Clark. Trying to sell South Carolina gear as a substitute draw for a game without Clark reveals how disconnected the front office is from fan motivations. It's tone-deaf marketing that only amplified the backlash. Consider the economic impact beyond just tonight's game. The Fever have home games remaining on their schedule. If this boycott establishes a precedent, every future game without Clark becomes vulnerable to the same fan revolt. That's not just one night of lost revenue. That's a recurring threat every time there's an injury, every time Clark gets rest days, every time the schedule doesn't align with fan expectations. The franchise can't build a stable business model on that foundation. The players themselves are caught in an impossible situation. Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and the rest of the roster have to take the court tonight knowing a significant portion of the fan base doesn't care about watching them play. That's psychologically brutal. These are professional athletes who've worked their entire lives to reach this level, and they're being told explicitly that without one teammate they're not worth watching. Some fans even apologize to the other players while declaring their boycott. Sorry to the rest of the girls, but I just can't. That's a devastating message for team morale. Stephanie White is coaching a team in crisis, and not just because her star player is injured. She's coaching a team whose fan base is actively rooting for organizational failure tonight. The coach has to motivate players, design game plans, and manage rotations while knowing that empty seats and low ratings are being celebrated by people who claim to support the franchise. That's an untenable position. And if the boycott succeeds, if the message gets through, White will be coaching under that shadow for the rest of the season. The injury itself raises questions that fuel the boycott. Fans are demanding honest reporting about Clark's overall health. Is this a minor ankle issue that requires one game of rest? Or is there a more serious underlying problem the organization isn't disclosing? The lack of detailed information creates speculation. And in that speculation vacuum, fans assume the worst. They assume Clark is being pushed too hard, not protected adequately, and now dealing with consequences that could have been prevented. Whether that's accurate or not almost doesn't matter. The perception drives the anger. The timing couldn't be worse for the WNBA's growth narrative. The league has been celebrating record attendance, massive TV deals, and mainstream media attention. But this situation exposes the fragility underneath those headlines. If one player's absence can trigger a full-scale boycott, what does that say about the foundation of the growth? It suggests the surge is personality-driven rather than product-driven. And personality-driven growth is inherently unstable because personalities are unpredictable variables. Sponsors and advertisers are watching too. They've invested in WNBA partnerships based on rising viewership and engagement numbers. But if those numbers are entirely dependent on whether Caitlin Clark plays, that changes the risk calculation. Sponsors want association with growing brands, not volatile ones. A successful boycott tonight demonstrates volatility. It shows that audience numbers can crater overnight based on factors beyond anyone's control. That makes the WNBA a riskier investment than the recent growth suggested. The Fever's front office, led by President of Basketball Operations Kelly Krauskopf, faces intense scrutiny. Krauskopf built this roster. She hired Stephanie White. She's responsible for the organizational culture and decision-making processes. If fans believe the organization failed to protect Clark, that blame ultimately lands on Krauskopf's desk. And if tonight's boycott succeeds in hurting revenue, ownership will be asking hard questions about leadership decisions. So here's what happens next. The game tips off tonight to a partially empty arena. The broadcast cameras will try to hide the vacant seats, but viewers at home will notice. Social media will track the attendance in real time, posting photos of empty sections. Ratings data will come out in the following days, and everyone will be analyzing whether the boycott actually worked. If attendance and viewership crater, the Fever and the WNBA will have to reckon with an uncomfortable truth: their biggest star's fans are loyal to her, not to them. And those fans have the power to inflict real financial damage when they feel betrayed. The question isn't whether fans are watching tonight, the question is whether the Fever and the WNBA are finally paying attention to what their actions cost them,